Hey, the streaming has begun. Everybody, stand by. Today we're going to be talking about some stuff and government shutdown, RFK Jr., and additives in your food. All right, happy Friday, everybody. I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and let's get this started. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Just want to get into it really quick. We have just some stuff to get through today. I want to focus mostly on RFK Jr. and food stuff. Just go over headlines. The biggest issue in the news today is the spending bill, which it seems like Democrats are going to team up with Republicans to pass. And I just want to highlight this one article that kind of sums up how I feel about it. Young Democrats' anger boils over as Schumer retreats on shutdown. A generational divide seen in newer lawmakers' impatience with bipartisanship and for colleagues who don't understand new media has emerged as one of the deepest rifts within the party. Here's Chuck Schumer. I can't even tell if he's awake or he's asleep. The Senate leader of the Democrats, reversed his decision to shut down the government, and it appears as though they will vote to fund the government and all of the Republicans' provisions and horrible policies that are in the spending bill that empower the Republicans and specifically Trump to have less oversight over spending. It seemed as though they were gonna fight it and we were gonna have a shutdown, but late yesterday, Mr. Schumer seeming surrender thrust into public view a generational divide that has emerged as one of the Democratic Party's deepest and most consequential rifts. Younger Democrats are chafing at and increasingly complaining about what they see as the feebleness of the old guard's efforts to push back against President Trump. This is so true. This is exactly how I feel about it. There is such a lack of inaction in the Democratic Party, and it's so enraging and annoying to me and to many others. And it's just like, I was so hopeful. I thought, okay, here we go. We're putting our foot down. We're not going to let this pass. And it's like this 74-year-old senator who still has a flip phone changes his mind for like this reason that he says it'll give Trump and Elon Musk more power to kind of control which departments are open and closed and control who gets the money easier than passing this bill, which there's some truth to that. I don't know. It remains to be seen. But for me, honestly, you need to show force. You need to show these people that the Democrats are serious. They do not support this, and come what may, whatever the consequences are, that's going to be on the Republicans for not proposing a bill that can get passed through the Senate. We've been through decades of this with Obama and Biden, and this is the playbook, right? This is the playbook that the Republicans have been running, and it seems to have worked out for them. And here we are. He's asleep on his flip phone, and completely does a 180 And what am and it makes me and a lot of other younger voters feel helpless. And it's like, I was filled with like this kind of excitement, like, yes, we're gonna put our foot down. There's gonna be a government shutdown, and we're gonna show the Republicans and Trump that we are not gonna take this. We're not gonna take this. And now it's like you're giving in. You're giving in. So I encourage everybody who's watching or who will watch this to call your senators and tell them that you're unhappy with the Democratic leadership in the Senate. And I've sent him a fax, I've sent him an email, and I've called him this morning and basically told him, if this goes through, I'm not voting for you anymore. I really hope we get some younger people in leadership roles. They always seem to be iced out. AOC is one of them. Always get to seem to be iced out of major leadership roles in the party, and it seems to always hurt us as Democrats. So that's that. I really want everybody to go on to 5 calls today before this vote, and call your senators and tell them. You can call Chuck Schumer. He's got a number on 5 calls. You can call him directly, even if he's not your senator. I mean, he's the Democratic leader. So, even if it's outside your jurisdiction, I think it's worthwhile to blow up his phone and his emails. So please do that. Please do that. So it's like, that's that. What I really want to get into today, I was looking at this video this morning of RFK Jr., and it is also indicative of what is problematic with our leadership in this country in general. And it has to do with research and knowledge and knowing what you're talking about. So this is an interview with Sean Hannity and RFK Jr. sit down at a burger joint to talk about making America healthy again. I mean, it seems like the most ironic place to hold an interview for that. And of course, it's like, I think they're kind of like sticking it to RFK Jr. too, like having this talk in a fast food restaurant with burgers and shakes and fries. It's also, it seems to be a shameless promotion and advertisement for this chain too, which I'm sure Hannity's getting some money for. And yeah, we're just going to dive into it. I've done some research on all the talking points here. We're going to stop this video along the way and kind of break down the falsities in the statements. And, we're just going to watch and comment. Okay, so let's get it started.
All right, so the movement to make America healthy again is underway, led by Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. earlier over the weekend. Today he met with leaders of America's largest food companies, which might have been a little bit awkward considering Secretary Kennedy is encouraging them, has been outspoken in terms of highly processed foods and ingredients that are allowed in them. Some companies are already taking steps on their own to move towards healthier options. Now, if you haven't been to Steak and Shake, you got to go. I had 2.
It's just like, oh my God, this is like the perfect segue. We're going to make everything nice and healthy. And, we're going to make America healthy again. And it's going to be great. I can't wait to do it. We finally got somebody in the position that's going to further the cause. We're going to be healthy again. And let me talk about Steak and Shake.
Double burgers, and they were phenomenal. Their fries were phenomenal. Now, they recently announced that they will be frying their French fries in beef tallow rather than seed oils. So I caught up with the secretary.
So this is the healthy switch we're making now. We're going to switch the oil we fry everything in. We're not going to stop eating fried food. We're switching up the oil. We'll get into this. and it's very sad and interesting at the same time. So here we go.
At one of the Florida locations of Steak and Shake for a wide-ranging interview. Let's play part one. Thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. Before you got here, I already had a burger, so I'm having another. I'm breaking my diet. I am pretty much full-on keto. I eat basically meat and eggs. I made an exception today. I had it on a bun, and I really enjoyed it actually, and it was really good. Explain the difference between seed oil and tallow and why this is a big deal. Why they said we're going to RFK Steak and Shake.
Processed foods is
Difference between seed oil and tallow. Pretty much full-on keto. I eat basically meat and eggs. I made an exception today. I had it on a bun, and I really enjoyed it.
All right, so let's dig into this right away. What is a keto diet? Is it meat and eggs? It is keto diet, meat and eggs. Keto diet is a keto diet is meat, fish, eggs, butter, cheese, nuts and seeds, healthy oils, including olive oil and avocado oil, avocados, low-carb veggies, and condiments such as salt, pepper, herbs, and spices. If you're on a keto diet, you're going to avoid sugary foods like soda, fruit juice, smoothies, cake, wheat-based products, rice, pasta. You're going to avoid all fruit except small portions, whatever that means. You're going to avoid beans or legumes, potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, parsnips. You're going to avoid low-fat or diet products. You're going to avoid some condiments such as barbecue sauce, honey mustard, teriyaki sauce, ketchup, and unhealthy fats, which is processed vegetable oils, mayonnaise, etc. This is Healthline. This is a very reputable source. So I take this as good research. You're going to avoid alcohol and sugar-free diet foods. So any sugar substitutes that are still sweet, low-fat or diet products, okay, and any food that is high in carbs is. So that's a keto diet. It's not just meat and eggs, but you're going to be consuming meat, fatty fish, eggs. It's a focus more on fat and up here. Sorry. So you are going to, your diet's going to contain about 70% fat, 20% protein, and only 10% carbs. So a very fatty, rich diet. All right. So that's our keto diet. Okay. So we're talking keto diet. So it's just meaning. So this is a weird segue. I'm on a keto diet, which is just meat and eggs, but I had carbs today, which was really good. And then this weird, so that has nothing to do with the segue into, there's no segue. It's just like, stream of consciousness from the #1 reporter on Fox News. So, okay, we're going to start here. All the science, all the evidence points to ultra-processed foods being the main culprit behind chronic disease. And chronic disease, we're talking about heart, cardiovascular disease, cancer, obesity, things like that. So this first statement in itself, it's not the main culprit. Ultra-processed foods are not a main culprit. It's a contributing factor, but other countries have processed food, ultra-processed food, whatever the difference is there, I don't know. And they don't have the obesity epidemic that the United States does. So it cannot be the main culprit. So let's go back. So when JFK was president in the 1960s, so let's take that, all right? When in the 1960s, 3% of people in the United States had chronic disease. Now it's 60%. This is a completely exaggerated and needs a source here, which there really isn't. I found in my research, I found this article. So right here. When John F. Kennedy was president, 6% of American kids had a chronic health condition, reads a page on Kennedy's campaign website detailing his intention to end the chronic disease epidemic in the U.S. Today, it is 60%. Rates of autoimmune disease, diabetes, ADD, ADHD, autism, obesity, asthma, food allergies, and other chronic health conditions have been skyrocketing. Kennedy recently has repeated this latter statistic on the campaign trail. In a June 4th interview with USA Today, he listed ending this chronic disease that is now debilitating 60% of our kids as one of the issues at the core of people's concerns about what is happening to America today. He told the paper he had a plan for ending the chronic disease epidemic overnight. Very familiar. So let's see. So, okay. So there is no good, here we go. There is no good way to track chronic conditions in the U.S., in U.S. kids over the more than 60-year span Kennedy refers to, given changes in how chronic conditions are diagnosed, tracked, and defined. Nor is there a single standard definition today of what counts as a chronic condition. We reached out to the Kennedy campaign to ask for the source of his statistics, but did not receive an answer. A possible source of Kennedy's reference to the current statistic is a 2011 study we covered in a previous article showing that 43% of U.S. kids had at least one of a list of 20 chronic conditions as reported by their parents in a 2007 survey. This number rose to 54% under a very broad definition that included those who were overweight, obese, or were at risk for developmental delay. Children's Health Defense, an organization founded by Kennedy that spreads anti-vaccine content, has cited the 54% figure, and Kennedy uses the same percentage in a video included at the bottom of his campaign's disease. But experts we consulted considered Kennedy's 60% statistic to likely be an overestimate and not a conservative estimate, as he claims, nor evidence that chronic conditions are debilitating a majority of children. Measures of chronic disease that only count children with conditions that limit their activity or require special support have yielded far lower estimates. As we've previously written, there is evidence that chronic conditions in children are not necessarily permanent. Okay, so yeah, this is a very exaggerated and false statement. A lot of these conditions, I mean, in the 60, here we go. So this statement right here, which is basically what he's parroting again here in this interview, 6% of kids had a chronic health condition. I tried to find a source for that. I could not find anything online. Just a lot of information about how back then we mostly just looked at causes of death and not the current condition, whether it was a chronic condition. Doctors just tended to recommend that you be healthier, and didn't really diagnose a lot of things as chronic. Um, I don't know if ADD and ADHD and autism and asthma were chronic conditions back then. I couldn't find any evidence towards that even being researched. Also, too, as the years go by, doctors and health experts have gotten way better at diagnosing these conditions. So it's not so much, of course, it does seem that obesity is on the rise, but it also seems too that our way of diagnosing has gotten better, and the science and the research and just the ability of doctors to diagnose certain conditions have improved, which thus increases the percentage that you find. Okay, so that's that statement. Right. Okay. We have the most advanced medical system in the world. Our healthcare system is shit. We spend more per person than any other developed nation, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that our healthcare system is privatized and is profit based. Which therefore, if it's profit based, these companies want more money, right? They don't want to make you healthy; they want more money because it's profit based, it's profit driven. So that is the main reason why we spend the most in healthcare costs, not so much the debilitating chronic diseases that we all have. So it's that again is there's another falsehood. That's not the reason why we pay so much as Americans for healthcare. It's not coming from ultra processed food. We'll get into that later. It's not solely ultra processed food. Some of the additives, yes, they are of concern, but it's not the primary reason for the health crisis in this country. So how are you gonna? Okay, this remains to be seen. How are you gonna incentivize, these not fast food chains, but I guess fast food too. But how are you gonna incentivize these big restaurant chains to make a switch from ultra processed foods, um and they're still serving burgers and fries and milkshakes. It's not like that's not that's not the main problem. The problem is that we all are going to these places and not exercising and just driving everywhere. That's the main problem. And it's like you can almost see in RFK's face that, like, he's like, oh my god, I have to promote this shit to try to get what I really want through. He's just like this. He's being used hardcore, and he's just taking it. You can see it in his face, which I really do enjoy. Okay. Also, too, remember, a keto diet: no bread, no wheat, no potatoes. So this is a completely not a keto diet. Okay. Oh, fuck you. Fuck this guy, man. Oh my god. Ugh. See, and RFK hates this too. Watch this little comment. You hate the sea turtles. Like, he knows. He's like, you bastard. It's like, ugh, man, don't even take a straw. Just take it off and drink it like a regular, you know, like a beverage, right? Oh my god. Okay, so we're talking. Here we go. We're talking. Mostly, this interview is mostly talking about um, making the switch between seed oil and beef tallow to fry your foods, okay, and to prepare your foods. So let's look into the difference between them, okay? So, what are so sorry, uh, pros and cons of seed oil. So, seed oils include canola oil, corn oil, sunflower, pumpkin seed, chia seed, sesame seed, and peanut oils. Are they bad for you? This is the Mayo Clinic. This is a legitimate site. To understand seed oils and if they're right for your diet, it is important to understand fat and how it can impact your body. Like all oils, seed oil provides dietary fat, which is essential for vitamin absorption as well as creation and function of the body's cells. Um, Saturated fats, which come from foods like meat, dairy, and coconut oil, can raise both good and bad cholesterol levels and are associated with increased risk of heart disease. There's even some evidence that suggests that saturated fats and high cholesterol levels are linked to Alzheimer's. Unsaturated fats, on the other hand, are the healthier option for most people. There are two types of unsaturated fats, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Research suggests that monounsaturated fats derived from plants may decrease bad cholesterol, raise good cholesterol, and improve blood sugar regulation. The takeaway here is that many plant oils and seed-based oils are high in the good unsaturated fats and low in the bad. Okay, so seed oils have more unsaturated fats and less saturated fats. Your body needs both, but seed oils have more unsaturated. The key to seed oil, as well as many other foods, is moderation. Ideally, Ewald says the way to optimize seed oils in your life is to reduce intake of processed foods and use seed oils as an option to cook with. In place of butter or coconut oil, for example, use seed oil when sauteing or baking a dish. Okay. No single food will make or break your health. It is about taking a holistic approach to your diet and finding a balance between foods that are good for the body, foods that are good for the soul, and foods that work for your lifestyle. After all, if I am actively reducing seed oils at home but eat out frequently and rely mostly on processed foods, I will not be healthier for it. Okay? So a lot of these oils are in our processed food, the packaged food that we eat. And switching to tallow, I don't know how that works out for processed foods, but for something like French fries, it seems to me like either option, you get different but similar results. Okay, so that's seed oil. Now let's look out for beef tallow. Beef tallow, whitish substance that is solid at room temperature. It is made by removing, simmering, and clarifying the fatty tissue that surrounds the organs of ruminant animals. Ruminant animals chew their cud and include cows, buffaloes, sheep, goats, and deer. Beef tallow is commonly made from cows and is sometimes called beef drippings. All right, so that's beef tallow. Beef tallow sounds to me like it's processed too. I don't know what the difference is, but between that process and this process that we get from seed oil, beef tallow has a unique fat profile. Like other solid cooking fats such as butter, coconut oil, beef tallow is made up primarily of saturated fat. Liquid fats such as olive oil, peanut oil, and canola oil are primarily unsaturated fats. Okay, so beef tallow is high in saturated fats. While they've been demonized in the past, eating certain kinds or small amounts might not be as harmful as previously thought. In tallow, some of the saturated fat is a specific type known as stearic acid. Stearic acid appears to not raise cholesterol in the same way as other saturated fats. Okay, so it seems to me that beef tallow is a good substitute for other saturated fats. So other saturated fats such as coconut oil or butter. Okay, and then the difference, here we go. Is beef tallow a healthier alternative to seed oils? What to know following JFK Jr.'s claims. Okay, what are seed oils? What is beef tallow? How do seed oils compare? Because seed oils and beef tallow have potential benefits for nutrition and high heat cooking. Is one superior to the other? Choosing one over the other is nuanced and is dependent on a person's lifestyle, behavior, and environmental circumstances. Okay, beef tallow and seed oils like canola or soybean oil have similar calorie counts. However, beef tallow has more choline, vitamin D, cholesterol, and saturated fat, whereas seed oils have more vitamin E, vitamin K, and unsaturated fatty acids such as omega-6 and omega-3. These nutritional features may carry different weight depending on your health goals. People who frequently cook at high temperatures or want to reduce omega-6 intake might find tallow useful, while those needing to limit saturated fats may do better with seed oil use or oils rich in monounsaturated fat. So again, it's nuanced. It depends on the person. It depends on your personal dietary needs. Someone who I'm imagining somebody who frequents fast food restaurants often would want to reduce their saturated fat content, and maybe seed oil would be better. But it also depends on your levels. You should go to a doctor and see what they say. But a blanket proclamation that beef tallow is way better than these seed oils is simply false. But you're not doing that because you're not informing us what these things are. You're just saying one is bad and one is good. Where uh, a simple 5 minutes on Google uh, does that research and shows you that both have benefits. And like everything, you should mix up what you're doing, and you shouldn't you shouldn't overindulge on one fat over the other. So you're not doing that. You're not informing people. This is not true. This is indicative of this whole party. This is indicative of the country right now. Little tidbits, uh, people claiming they're experts who aren't experts, who just read trending posts from people who claim to be experts who are not, spouting exaggerations and lies. And because people who we trust, people who seem popular, tell us that it's true, we as Americans tend to believe it, which is so dangerous, so dangerous. Okay, moving on. Okay, so how are you, as a libertarian who's a proponent of hands-off government, how are you going to incentivize companies to change their ways based on how you feel about certain products? Um, I don't understand that. And again, this is the problem. This is the problem with most politicians, particularly Republicans, is that there is no concrete answer or concrete plan. It's just a talking point followed by we're going to do this. We're going to incentivize. But how are you going to incentivize? You don't. There is no plan for that. And if anybody watching can find that, please post it in the comments. I would love to know what that's all about. Butter. Butter. Butter is a healthy option. Butter. Butter? Butter. Butter is a healthy option. What? Oh my God. Let's come on. Come on. Come on, people. Butter. Is butter healthy? Healthier than oil? Oh my God. In general, plant-based oils, especially those high in unsaturated fats, are considered healthier than butter, which is high in saturated fat, potentially raising cholesterol and increasing heart disease risk. Ah! Oh my God. What? This guy is in charge. This guy's in charge. People. Oh my God. Oh, that took like 30 seconds. Butter. Butter. What? What? I'm kind of interested in what his daughter replaced. He doesn't get into that. He just said he got rid of the margarine and some other stuff and replaced it with healthier options, but didn't explain what the healthier stuff was. I'm kind of curious as to what it actually was. It's probably a lot of the stuff that we're talking is not good for you. But anyway, I digress. Oh my, this is an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment. Oh my God. Health, oh my God. Health Secretary RFK sitting down at Steak and Shake eating French fries and burgers fried in beef fat and ordering milkshakes and Coca-Colas, talking about the health epidemic in our country. Okay, I mean right there, it's like this is a problem. This is a problem. Listen to this. Listen to this. Right here. Like look, it's not 80%, it's 73%. Say the actual number. 73%. It's not 80%. 50, your graphic says 35%. You're exaggerating by like 50%. It's your graphic. Your graphic says it. It's not 80%, it's 73%. It's not 50%, it's 35%. Like and we have an obesity epidemic, so let's bring the health secretary to a fast food chain. We'll eat burgers and fries and milkshakes, and we'll talk about the obesity epidemic. And it's like this, it's just it's just insane. It's insane. Okay, we're gonna get into that, right? He's saying Harvard and Stanford studies show that changing your diet, food is medicine. Changing your diet can get rid of some of those diagnoses. That is again an exaggeration and not true. We're gonna go to one of those study. Okay, here we go. Pilot study shows ketogenic diet improves severe mental illness. Improves severe mental illness. Does not get rid of the diagnosis. If you're diagnosed with severe mental illness, you have severe mental illness. You don't just get rid of it, I don't think. So for people living with serious mental illness like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, standard treatment with antipsychotic medications can be a double-edged sword. While these drugs help regulate brain chemistry, they often cause metabolic side effects such as insulin resistance and obesity, which are distressing enough. So now a pilot study led by Stanford medicine researchers has found that a ketogenic diet not only restores metabolic health in these patients as they continue their medications, but it further improves their psychiatric conditions. Improves, does not get rid of some diagnoses. The results, published March 27th, suggest that a dietary intervention can be a powerful aid in treating mental illness. It's very promising and very encouraging that you can take back control of your illness in some way aside from the usual standard of care. Okay? It says here at some point, seeing huge changes, I get bad striking. On average, the participants improved 31% on a psychiatric rating of mental illness known as the Clinical Global Impression Scale, with 3/4 of the group showing clinically meaningful improvement. Overall, participants reported better sleep and greater satisfaction. They were still on their drugs, though, too. So it says, let me try to find it. Right here. As they continue their medications. Now a pilot study, here we go. As a pilot study led by Stanford medicine research has found, that a ketogenic diet not only restores metabolic health in these patients as they continue their health medications, but it further improves their psychiatric conditions. So they're still on their medications and they change their diet to help combat the side effects of the medications, and their psychiatric conditions have improved. Okay, so this is, there is some truth to this statement, but it's also an exaggeration. Just like this is an exaggeration. It's not 80%, it's not 50%. This is a more subtle exaggeration. Okay, hold on. Sorry. So this is okay. So I'm sorry, I'm bouncing all over here. So right now we're talking about American teens who reported feeling anxiety and depression. Okay, so the study he's citing here is talking about people living with serious mental illnesses like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. The medications also, the medications that they take often have metabolic side effects, such as insulin resistance and obesity. So these drugs that you take can make you obese. So changing your diet along with these drugs helps to combat that. And as in addition to these psychotropic drugs, having a better diet helps combat the side effects, with which also improves your mood. So we're not talking this Harvard study. This is the Harvard one, right? No, the Stanford study is looking at people with serious mental illnesses, not adolescents with feelings who are reported feeling anxiety and depression. This is not what he's talking about. Might there be some correlation? Possibly. But you can't frame it like these studies were studying these American teens who were feeling anxiety and depression. That's not what those studies were. That's not what the studies found. Point blank. Okay, so let's look that up. I haven't done this yet. Obesity rates in 1960. In 1960 to 1962, about 13% of adults in the US were obese. Okay, so 13% of adults were obese. Okay, and okay, so not 3, 13. Again, we're exaggerating, right? So we're saying bullshit. It's not 3%. Okay, when your uncle was president, 13 to 14% of Americans were obese. Okay. Okay, so, and then close to 80% of the United States is obese. Okay, obesity rates in 2020. Let's just go 2020. Okay. Okay, so according to the CDC, during August 2021 to August 2023, the prevalence of obesity in adults was 40%. 40%. It's not 80%. We are okay. So it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Okay? So oh my god. Bullshit. Bullshit. When your uncle was president, 13%. Okay? Now we're up to 43%. Okay? It's not. It's not. It's over 40%. You're doubling the rate of obesity. Okay? So you're doubling the stat for some reason. Maybe it's Americans who are overweight. So that's what we're talking about. Okay? overweight. Okay? So overweight 30%, obese 42%. Okay? So that's okay, you're combining two different things. Okay? So how Americans who were overweight in 1960. Okay? Approximately 31% of American adults were considered overweight. 13.4 were obese. Okay? Now 30% are overweight and 42% are obese. Okay? So those are the real numbers. Enough with the bullshit. In Japan, it's different. Okay. Okay. Japan, life expectancy 84 years. Okay. Japan, life expectancy by gender. Okay. I'm going to confirm my choices. Okay, so this is male. All right, so male lives to be about 81. Okay, in Japan, life expectancy for men is 81. And then in the US, okay, so males 74. So 74, 75. So 75, 81 minus 75 is 6 years. It's not 10 years, it's 6 years. Oh my God. Yes, let me correct you because you are wrong. It's 6 years. It's not 10 years. Still better, but not 10 years. So if I'm a responsible head of a health service in the United States, I wouldn't say yeah. I would say something more along the lines of, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check that. That's how I would answer that question. Okay, so now that we're talking about Japan, let's focus on Japan. I found this article that talks about the Japanese lifestyle and why the Japanese, on average, weigh much less than the Americans. Okay. All right. I was born and raised in the American Midwest, but love visiting my parents' homeland in Japan. Central to every trip, there is always the food. Oh my goodness, the food. Eating is a raging national obsession here with good reason. Staggering varieties of food are available everywhere. It's all delicious, and most impressively, to me, it's always fresh. Noodles, soba noodles, which is not keto. Sushi, rice, not keto. All right? So it's just insane. So, what's remarkable about Japan is that the food like this is available almost everywhere you turn, yet obesity is not the public health threat that it is in the US. I asked Terry Huang, a health policy professor at the City University of New York, about the apparent contradiction in Japan's relationship with food. He says there are various reasons. Again, it's It's way more complicated than just one answer. But the complicated answer lies somewhere that in the fact that most of which are rooted in Japan's cultural history. Japan and Asian countries generally place greater emphasis on health and longevity as compared to convenience, say, or instant gratification. Okay, that's the difference. It may be hard to quantify, but qualitatively it is important because it influences how we design our communities, how we think about food, and how we engage in lifestyle behaviors in general. In other words, the fundamental construct of life in Japan makes it easier to live healthier. Why is that? Because Japanese cities are densely populated but safe, which allows for heavy reliance on public transportation, for example, and populations that use public transportation tend to walk more and get more exercise just by virtue of that design. Okay? Errands. My 74-year-old mother tells me errands are her primary form of exercise. The incidental walking from doing chores and shopping naturally adds up. I documented that during my trip. I spent 8 days shadowing my parents who lived in central Tokyo, and my Apple Watch fitness tracker showed I walked on average over 6 miles a day, which is 60% more than I typically do living in the suburbs. So, city living, you are healthier. This is true. I live in the city. I walk everywhere I can. Even in my neighborhood in Queens, it's a little more spread out. But when I can, I walk. If it's a little further, I ride my bike there. If I need to go into the city, I go to the train. The train is about a little less than a half-mile walk there and back, so that's a mile there, and then I'm walking all over the city. So my kids too, they walk on average probably about a mile and a half to 2 miles a day when it comes to getting to and from school, and they have activities which they get back on the train. So they're walking all over the place, walking. We're not getting in our car and going straight from point A to point B, going to the parking lot and walking into wherever we're going. It's an adventure. It's a trek. Its travel is active in the cities, which is a huge reason why why exactly what we're talking about here. Why city living is more healthy, because you're more active in the city. That's why default design is so powerful. It bakes healthy habits into daily life. Huang said it's critical because otherwise healthy behavior becomes less automatic and more dependent on individual effort. Anytime you add additional burden in planning for a healthy meal or going to exercise, that's going to translate into a lower likelihood of people actually engaging. So if you provide the infrastructure, if you make it safe, people will use it and they will be more active. And also, when it comes to food, there is a stronger emphasis on quality and refinement in the preparation of each dish as opposed to quantity. All right? So we're not like Mr. Hannity over here and ordering, 2 burgers and eating tons of crap. And we're not getting big, giant glasses of sugar and fat. I can never eat everything that I order at a fast food restaurant. It's just too much. It's too much. But that's our lifestyle here in the United States. And this article is saying that's the problem. There's lots of salt in the food over there, but it's always savory, nourishing, and it's diverse, right? I think my favorite example that shows the contrast with the US is Japanese convenience store food. There's no market for supersized slushies here or day-old hot dogs cooked on rollers. Japanese convenience stores, also called konbini, feature refrigerated walls of noodle salads, rice balls, bento boxes, all perfectly portioned and delicious, if you ask me. So over there, we have refrigerated walls of noodles and rices, non-keto diet, just, just regular fresh food, right? With not a lot of additives and preservatives. Although some of it is, if you get the ramen noodle prepackaged, that's got a lot of preservatives in it. So this is not to say Japan is immune to industrialized and ultra processed food. Excess weight is a growing concern here too, yet the population is remarkably resilient in the face of that global trend. Why? One key factor my mom reminds me of, and many researchers point to, is the Japanese school lunch. It's free, scratch made, and balanced. But that isn't all. Starting in elementary school, lunchtime itself is treated like a class in nutrition. Kids serve each other food, help with the cleanup, and are encouraged to eat everything that they're given. It's not something we could even imagine here in the US. Here in the US, what are we doing? We're defunding the Department of Education and taking $1 billion away from the free school lunch program. That's what we're doing here, because we're going to let the market decide. We're going to get out of, government's going to get out of the school system. Insane. So that's the difference between Japan and the United States. Okay, I do tend to agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's no, I don't agree with that. But one big way to change it is to change the way we eat. But also, we need to fundamentally change our exercise and how we get to and from places. Less of a dependence on car and car culture, which I seriously doubt that's ever going to happen in this country. Um, it is way more complicated than one single answer to the problem. Um, so that is that. I have all the links in the description below. And then the other thing I want to um, focus on is this Instagram story that I have found at the White House. Oh my God. And it is this one right here. I'm gonna let it play because I gotta take a leak. So watch this bullshit, and we're gonna go through it and check it out. Okay, here we go. I'll be right back. Oh my God, what did I do? I didn't even put the. Oh my God. All right, so let's start this over. All right, I'm checking this out. All right, is there a problem with the live stream? Yes. Oh my God, the screen locked up. How did that happen? All right, let me fix that. Hold on. What? Okay. All right. I think that fixed it. I think that fixed it. Let's try it. Sorry for that. Let me see. Did that fix it? Did it fix the thing? Did it fix the thing? I think it did. All right. Good. Back on track. All right, so let's take a look at this.
Carrageenan, riboflavin, monosodium glutamate, and 20 others that I can't pronounce.
It doesn't sound good. Polysorbate 80, that stuff's really bad. Sodium cereol.
Sodium steroid lactylate. I think you're getting the picture that you can't pronounce this stuff.
Sodium gilionate.
Oh my God.
Titanium dioxides. Polysorbate 80.
Hold on. Let's make this big. Oh my God. All right. So I'm gonna go to this guy.
Ingredients from foods, carrageenan, riboflavin, monosodium glutamate, and 20 others that I can't pronounce.
It doesn't sound good. Polysorbate 80, that stuff's really bad. Sodium cereal.
Sodium steroid lactylate. I think you're getting the picture that you can't pronounce this stuff.
Sodium gilionate. Titanium dioxides. Polysorbate 80, BHT, TBHQ. The Make America Healthy Again movement is the strongest movement in America because it contains moms.
And the most exciting thing today is dozens of MAHA moms that have made their way to Washington, D.C. to continue the righteous work to ensure that we have the best, the safest, and the most transparent food supply in American history, as we all work as a MAHA mom myself to ensure that all of our kids going forward can live a healthy, incredible life that we can provide in this country.
If you are an American company poisoning us with ingredients you don't use in other countries, we're coming for you.
This is a list of ingredients from foods.
Okay. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we go.
Carrageenan.
Carrageenan. I got all. You ready? Carrageenan. This is carrageenan. This is like what we should be doing. Like this video is presented to us. This video is presented to us like all these things are bad, and we have, because we can't pronounce them. They must be bad. So that's the whole point. We can't pronounce them. They're so bad. But let's find out. Carrageenan, family of natural linear sulfated polysaccharides. They're extracted from red edible seaweeds. Okay, carrageenans are widely used in the food industry for gelling, thickening, and stabilizing properties. Okay, toxicity research. It was deemed non-toxic by the EFSA under certain consumption levels. Research has been done in the role of carrageenan in forms of various inflammatory bowel disease and allergic reactions, which much of the concern is centered around the specific adione glycosidic band present in carrageenan, which interacts Okay, so in elevated amounts, which aren't approved by the FDA, maybe make your stomach upset a little bit. Okay, but it's a natural occurring element in seaweed, and it's used as a thickening agent. Okay, no clinical evidence establishes carrageenan as an unsafe food ingredient, mainly because its fate after digestion is inadequately determined. Okay, so that's carrageenan. Good. Okay, moving on.
Riboflavin.
Riboflavin. Horrible, horrible riboflavin. Riboflavin is vitamin B2. It's a B vitamin found in food and sold as a dietary supplement. Okay, it's a vitamin, water soluble vitamin, and one of the B vitamins. Riboflavin is only one chemical compound. It is a starting compound. Okay, is essential to the forming of coenzymes It is a vitamin that your body needs. So that's riboflavin.
Monosodium glutamate.
Monosodium glutamate, MSG. MSG MSG is a sodium salt of glutamic acid. MSG is found naturally in some foods, including tomatoes and cheese, in this glutamic acid form. MSG is used in cooking as a flavor enhancer with savory taste that intensifies the umami flavor of food and is naturally occurring. MSG had a stigma along with it. The controversies surrounding the safety of MSG started with the publication of Robert Ho Man Kwok's correspondence letter titled Chinese Restaurant Syndrome in the New England Journal of Medicine in 1968. In his letter, Kwok suggested several possible causes before he nominated MSG for his symptoms. All right, so despite resulting public backlash, the FDA did not remove MSG from their generally recognized as safe list. The controversy about MSG is tied to racial stereotypes against East Asian societies. So the negative connotation we usually have with MSG is not based on science, but based on a publication that recontextualized an article. I lost my train here. It was recontextualized as legitimate, while the race-based motivations of the humor were not parsed, which replicated historical racial prejudices. So it was more of a racial prejudice than a health and safety issue. Okay, so that's MSG.
And 20 others that I can't pronounce.
It doesn't sound good. Polysorbate 80, that stuff's really bad. Sodium
Stearyl lactylate. Okay, so this, here we go. Lactylates, okay, is a versatile FDA-approved food additive used to improve the mix tolerance and volume of processed food. Okay, so it is used to affect the volume on leavened bread. Health and safety. Lactylates such as SSL have been subjected to extensive safety evaluations prior to being FDA approved for use as a food additive. So it is safe to use after extensive safety evaluations. Okay, European Union uses it too. So that's that. Completely safe.
cereal.
Sodium steroid lactylate. I think you're getting the picture that you can't pronounce this stuff.
What? Okay. The picture that you can't pronounce it. So what? So you can't pronounce it. There's plenty of good things for you that you can't pronounce. So that has nothing to do with the point of you're trying to make with this video. Okay? If you can't pronounce it and you don't understand what it is, you should probably educate yourself as to what these things are.
Sodium gilionate.
Disodium guanate. Let's look that up. Here we go. This is so easy, right? Disodium guanylate. Typically made from dried disodium guanylate, is a type of salt that is derived from guanosine monophosphate. Disodium guanylate is made through the fermentation of a variety of vegetables, most often tapioca starch or seaweed. Again, it's derived naturally. It is a sodium salty flavor. It can be listed on a food label as natural flavors, making it difficult to tell if a product contains this additive. Disodium guanylate can be used alone, although it's less common because it's more expensive to make than MSG or other glutamates. Disodium glutamate increases the flavor intensity of salt, requiring less salt to achieve the same result. Foods such as tomatoes and cheese contain glutamates, all right, which are naturally occurring amino acids that can be found in the brain, where they can function as neurotransmitters. Okay. What foods contain disodium guanylate? Dairy products, fats, edible ices, fruit, vegetables, confectionery, cereals, baked goods, meat. Like it's a naturally occurring salt. Okay? Naturally occurring salt. It has been approved by the FDA, European Food Safety Authority, Joint FAO, WHO committee. Okay, it's been approved by the world. So it's not just an additive that is being used in America to poison the kids. It's totally fine. Okay, titanium dioxide. This one's a little, not so good for you. But we don't just lump everything into a category, okay? So titanium. Okay, titanium dioxide is an inorganic compound derived from titanium, with the chemical formula TiO2. When used as a pigment, it's called titanium white, pigment white. So its use in applications, production, applications, in food, it's commonly found in ice creams, chocolates, all types of candy, creamers, desserts, marshmallows, chewing gum, pastries, dressings, cakes, and many other foods. I'm guessing as a pigment enhancer. That's what it seems to me to be the reason why you would put it in a food. Health and safety, regarded as completely non-toxic. TiO2 whitener in food was banned in France. Okay, in 2021, the European Food Safety Authority ruled that as a consequence of new understandings of nanoparticles, titanium dioxide could no longer be considered safe as a food additive. Okay, so there we go. This one, sure, I'll give it to you. Oh, wait, I left the video. Okay, so let's get back to it. Here we go. Go.
From foods, carrageenan,
Naturally occurring.
riboflavin,
Okay, vitamin B.
monosodium glutamate,
Totally fine for you.
and 20 others that I can't pronounce.
It doesn't sound good. Polysorbate 80, that stuff's really bad. Sodium cereal.
Totally fine for you.
Sodium steroic lactylate. I think you're getting the picture
Approved in
that you
Europe
can't
and
pronounce
here,
this
it's
stuff.
okay.
Sodium gilionate.
Salt, it's
Titanium
okay.
dioxide.
Titanium dioxide, not so good for you. So, okay, so we've got, so far, that's the first one that is a little sus and probably should not be in food. Okay?
Polysorbate 80.
Polysorbate 80. Got a little bug there. Polysorbate 80. Let's find out about that one. All right, polysorbate 80. Polysorbate 80. All right. Is a non-ionic surfactant and emulsifier often used in pharmaceuticals, foods, cosmetics. It's derived pretty unnaturally. In food, polysorbate 80 is used as an emulsifier, though research suggests it might profoundly impact intestinal microbiota in a manner that promotes gut inflammation and associated disease states. For example, in ice cream, polysorbate is added up to 0.5% to make ice cream smoother and easier to handle, as well as increasing its resistance to melting. Adding prevents milk proteins from completely coating the fat droplets. This allows them to join chains and nets, which hold air in the mixture and provide a firmer texture that holds its shape as the ice cream melts. So I'm guessing that that air increases stomach discomfort. Okay. So this one, emulsifiers. Yes, studies have started to come out that says emulsifiers are probably not that great for you. Okay, so here's the second one. Not too good for you. I'll give you that. BHT. BHT. Let's find out about BHT. BHT. Butylated. Here we go. Butylated hydroxytoluene. Chemical derived of phenol that is useful for its antioxidant properties. BHT is widely used to prevent free radical mediated oxidation in fluids and other materials, and the regulation is overseen by the U.S. FDA, which considers BHT to be generally recognized as safe, allow small amounts to be added to foods. Despite this and the earlier determination by the National Cancer Institute that BHT was non-carcinogenic in an animal model, societal concerns over its broad use have been expressed. BHT has also been postulated as an antiviral drug. Okay, so this one's a little more borderline. Has low acute toxicity. The World Health Organization discussed possible link between BHT and cancer risk in 1986, and some primary research studies in the 70s to the 90s reported both potential increased risk and potential for decreased risk in the area of oncology. Because of this uncertainty, the Center for Science in the Public Interest puts BHT in its caution column and recommends avoiding it. Okay, so here's another one. Might not be too good for you. Further research needed.
TBHQ.
TBHQ. TBHQ, which is tert butyl hydroquinone. Okay, synthetic aromatic organic compound, which is a type of phenol. Okay, it's used as a food preservative. TBHQ is used as an antioxidant preservative for unsaturated vegetable oils and many edible animal fats. It does not cause discoloration, even in the presence of iron, and does not change the flavor or odor of the material to which it is added. It can be combined with other preservatives as a food additive. The European Food Safety Authority and the United States Food and Drug Administration have evaluated TBHQ and determined that it is safe to consume at the concentration allowed in foods. The FDA and European Union both set an upper limit of 0.02% of the oil or fat content in food. It has not been approved in Japan, hence the import of food containing TBHQ for selling is not allowed in Japan in 2007. At very high doses, it has some negative health effects in lab animals. Okay, so there we go. TBHQ. All right, so out of all of those that we listed off, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 6 of those are completely fine for you. Extensive studies have shown that it is completely okay for you to consume and to put in your food. 4 of them, not so much / more research is needed. Okay, so it's this is an incredibly misleading video. Most of these things, the majority of the things listed in here is safe for you, and however is being presented by the White House as unsafe for human consumption.
The Make America Healthy Again movement is the strongest movement in America because it contains moms.
And the most exciting thing today is dozens of MAHA moms that have made their way to Washington, D.C. to continue the righteous work to ensure that we have the best, the safest, and the most transparent food supply in American history as we all work.
What does that mean, transparent? Like the transparent food supply. What does that mean to have a transparent food supply? Because it is all pretty transparent to me. Everything is labeled, and the nutrition information on the packaging. So what's the additional transparency we're going for here?
As a MAHA mom myself, to ensure that all of our kids going forward can live a healthy, incredible life that we can provide in this country.
If you are an American company poisoning us with ingredients you don't.
Okay, so again, nobody is poisoning the children. I mean, okay, well, hold on. Technically, if we look at this broadly, okay, some of this stuff probably not so good, but most of the stuff you've listed is okay for human consumption, is derived naturally, is just another different type of salt, whatever, what have you. But you know, again, we're presenting everything like since we don't know what these words mean, it must be bad for us, right? If we don't know what this country is, then why are we giving them money? It's like, again, it's this whole culture of it's okay to be stupid, and because we don't know these long weird words, it must be bad for us and it must be poisoning the children.
Use in other countries, we're coming for you.
And also too, with the exception of like 2 or 3 things on that list, they are used in every other country in the world. Okay, so again, very misleading information here. Yay, woohoo! So so that's that. I just wanted to get into that, to kind of tie that in with the RFK Jr. Video we just watched, and again, it's this this culture of being proud of not knowing what the fuck we're talking about, and you know, being proud of being stupid, and you know, refusing to you know, it's like this video is all about you know, it's not what we eat, it's not where we eat or how we get there, or you know, everything on the table. It's if we eat the same things but change just one form of fat, that's going to be okay. So that's what we need to, and that's the number one reason why we have this obesity epidemic, which of course, chock full of lies and exaggerations, this whole video. It's very easy to fact check these things, and all these people in positions of power in the government are just spewing lies. They obviously aren't doing any research, and or are being very selective in their research and painting a very misleading picture of why things are the way they are in this country. And same thing with this video. Again, just chock full of misleading lies, de-emphasis on experts and scientists and factual research, and more of an emphasis on strong moms making the decisions. Strong personalities, strong moms, regardless of our background, and regardless of expertise in the field that we are studying, or even in the department that we're heading. Very, very concerning. Again, this is the state of our country. I really hope that things change, and you know, we kind of wake up and start doing the research ourselves. It's so easy to do this. It's so easy to do this. You know, you look up a word on, that was the whole promise of the internet, right? All the information at our fingertips, the ease with which we look up information, and that's not how it's evolved. It's evolved into entertainment, quick bits, bite-sized little tidbits, regardless of whether it's true or not. As long as it's entertaining, as long as it tells me something definitively within 30 seconds to a minute, I'm going to believe it. I'm not going to look it up, even though the device that I'm looking, the device I'm watching it on has all the answers. I won't do any further research. I'm just going to absorb the entertainment and believe it as fact. Very, very concerning. So that's about all I have for today. Before I go, let's see if there's any crazy shit is happening right now. Nope. Chuck Schumer is asleep on his flip phone, going along with the Republicans. If you disagree with that, please, please, please call, email, text, send a fax. You can do all of that to these to these people in charge of the government right now, to our Democratic leadership. Let them know how unhappy you are. Get on 5 calls, call them, leave them a message, let them know your dissatisfaction with what's going on. And hopefully, I really, really, really hope that we come around to our senses and do not vote for a Republican spending bill that guts agencies that benefit people, that benefit our society, and while at the same time decrease transparency for approved spending. All right, so that's what's happening. Let's look at the stocks. It seems like they're rebounding today. Still down, but let's see. Stocks are surging. Stocks are surging. So let's see the Dow surging. The Dow is up 500 points. The Dow is up 500 points today. Still way down for the week. NASDAQ is up 2% today. Still pretty far down. And the biggest indicator, the S&P 500, again up about 1.5% today, but still way down on the week. So, yeah, time will tell, but we are not looking too good. Putin demands Ukrainian troops in Kursk region of Russia surrender. That's rich. The guy who invaded Ukraine wants the invaders of Russia to surrender. Okay, great. President Vladimir Putin of Russia insisted that Ukraine order some of its forces to surrender to Russia, a striking demand made hours after President Trump said the United States had a very good and productive discussions with Mr. Putin about a potential ceasefire in Ukraine. Came shortly after Mr. Trump on social media said he had urged the Russian leader to spare the lives. Oh, he urged him to spare the lives of Ukrainian soldiers struggling to hold on to a patch of land. Oh, I have strongly requested to President Putin that their lives be spared. Oh, that's going to mean a lot to Mr. Putin. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. So, what a week. What a week in the country. Health concerns, baseless reasons for the obesity epidemic in this country, greatly exaggerated percentages. Even like when it's on the screen, we exaggerate, celebrating our ignorance as far as additives and ingredients in our food, painting everything as bad because we can't read it. The illegal arrest and detaining of a green card holder, holding them halfway across the country, threatening to deport him and not charging him with anything. Protests in the street, threatening to arrest student protesters and labeling them as terrorist sympathizers. All this week. I don't know what next week will have in store for us, but it's gonna be amazing. And won't you join me next week for so much fun? Fight the power, protest in the streets, do your 5 calls, let your representatives know how unhappy you are with them. I'm going to hopefully put together a few shorts over the weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.